It's Friday, February the 28th, 2014. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield and this is episode number 23 of T.E.N, Transport Evolved News for the week beginning February 24th, 2014. After months of speculation, Tesla Motors have finally released details of its long-promised Gigafactory this week, a Tesla-owned one-stop battery shop which will produce more lithium-ion battery cells in a single year than the combined total output of all the lithium-ion cell production facilities currently operating in the world today. In a press release yesterday, the Californian automaker said that it is in the final stages of choosing a suitable site to build its monster factory from a short list of sites in Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico and Texas, and that the factory itself would take up somewhere between 500 and 1,000 acres. As the largest battery manufacturing facility the world has ever known, you'd be forgiven that thinking that Tesla's decision to call its proposed factory the Gigafactory is an attempt to emphasize its gargantuan size. But actually, the Gigafactory comes from the estimated 50 gigawatt hours of lithium-ion battery packs Tesla says it will make each and every year by 2020. 50 gigawatt hours, in case you're interested, equates to about 50 million kilowatt hours, or enough battery packs to build 500,000 Teslas. Yeah, big. We like the little Honda Fit, or Jazz as it's called in our part of the world. It's fairly good looking, combines the perfect mix of practicality and fuel efficiency, and is even available in electric only versions if you happen to live in certain US states. Except it soon won't be. Produced just to satisfy various zero-emission mandates in California, the FitEV will end production early this autumn just after 1,100 have rolled off the production line in 2 years. That's exactly as Honda promised when it launched the plug-in subcompact 2 years ago. But that's despite a massively long waiting list for the remaining available cars, and admission from Honda itself that dealers are even having to keep waiting lists of prospective owners just in case someone changes their mind about buying one. In short, Honda is killing a car it really didn't want to make, despite overwhelming customer demand, all because it famously doesn't like electric cars all that much. The power of dreams seems to be all too quickly turning into the power of nightmares. For shame, Honda. It's no secret that Nissan is desperate to learn from its own early adopting Leaf drivers how best to build the electric cars that people want. But this week, we learned that Nissan hasn't just been asking its current and future EV customers for their advice, it's been asking Tesla's customers too. Tesla! According to Green Car Reports, Nissan arranged for an email to go out to a subset of Model S owners asking them to take part in a very small study. They were asked to complete a survey, keep a log of their driving and recharging habits, and attend a 1-hour face-to-face interview. We hear that many of the questions asked revolved around range and charging behaviour, indicating that perhaps Nissan is keen to understand just how much in demand a longer-range Nissan Leaf, with perhaps a 150 mile per charge range, really is. We're all familiar with the concept of range anxiety, the fear, often irrational in nature, that you won't reach your destination because your electric car is going to run out of power. Range anxiety is typically worst in first-time EV drivers, diminishing with time and user experience. But German psychology doctoral candidate Thomas Frank suggests range anxiety isn't just an inconvenience, it can dramatically reduce your car's real-world range. As Frank detailed in his recently released paper, the majority of EV drivers plan trips that are well within their car's range, partly due to comfort issues. And while many will, at a push, go further, Frank says most don't. The challenge, he says, is to develop ways to help drivers learn and understand their real-world range of their car and use more of their car's battery pack as a consequence, rather than just making bigger battery packs. Whatever your views on the subject, using inductive rather than conductive charging stations to refuel an electric car's battery pack is generally considered something of an inevitability for at least some parts of the electrified vehicle industry. Now, there's a new test fleet of wirelessly charging electric vehicles being tested as part of a pilot project being run by Toyota. What's more, the system is being tested on the smallest capacity plug-in vehicle on the market today, the 2014 Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid. Toyota's prototype vehicles make use of an autonomous parking feature that has been part of the Toyota Prius lineup for more than 7 years. Instead of simply identifying and reversing into a parking space, however, the modified software ensures that the car is parked precisely over the inductive charging station, allowing for optimal efficiency and power transfer. From the end user's perspective, however, the additional functionality of inductive charging alignment operates seamlessly within Toyota's already long-proven technology. We're interested to see just how this technology performs and if it'll catch on. What do you think? It was about 9 months ago that Better Place, the company who bought real-world battery swapping to electric cars in Israel, filed for bankruptcy. Since then, electric car owners in Israel have seen the company fail to be acquired twice and had to make do with charging when and where they can. The situation may be looking up though, as it was announced this week that Carasso Motors, an importer for Nissan and Renault cars, along with the Paz Oil Company, have reached an agreement to bring rapid charging to Israel. Yes, an oil company! By the end of Better Place, less than 1,000 cars were on the road in Israel that could make use of the battery swap stations they had installed. This is after Better Place ordered 100,000 cars from Renault in a non-binding agreement. Each battery swap station was fully automated and could swap a battery in a car in around 5 minutes. But the only car that could use those stations was the now discontinued Renault Fluence ZE, which was built with this battery swap technology in mind, but sadly not with rapid charging capabilities. In fact, the Nissan Leaf and Renault Zoe historically never took off in Israel because of Better Place and a lack of rapid charging provision. But with Better Place gone and rapid charging being installed, expect that to change in the near future. The BMW i3 might be getting a fair bit of stick in the US right now for its agonisingly slow rollout, expensive lease plans and weird ordering process. But over in the UK, love for BMW's first mass-produced electric car is as strong as ever. So it's no surprise that the BMW i3 has just been awarded the first ever UK Car of the Year award, beating other finalists including the Porsche Cayman, Range Rover Sport, BMW 5 Series, Citroën C4 Grand Picasso and Audi A3 to the title. While we're pleased to see that the BMW i3 won the overall title, showing yet again that electric cars have what it takes to beat the best guzzlers out there, we are a little disappointed to see that unlike the European Car of the Year award, which tends towards a wide swathe of cars covering many different price points and markets, the UK Car of the Year list was almost exclusively made up of luxury and high-end brands, apart from the Skoda Octavia and the C4 Picasso. Still, it's good to see an EV winning, right? A Californian study into EV buying practices in the state has revealed this week that while we all have different reasons for dumping the pump, our principal reasons for making the switch to electric may influence the type of car we end up buying. Nissan Leaf owners, for example, are most likely to cite environmental concerns as the main reason they switch to electric, while Chevy Volt owners are more likely to cite gas savings at the top of their priorities list. An overwhelming majority of Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid drivers pick neither, saying their principal reason for buying the limited range plug-in was to gain single occupant access to California's HOV lanes in rush hour, presumably saving them a lot of time in the process. Here at Transport Evolved, we've got several different motivating factors to buying our EVs, including the fact that EVs are fun and exciting to drive, cost very little to run, and have bucket loads of torque. Oh, and they don't smell. If you're a child of the 1970s or 1980s, the chances are you spent a lot of time watching television shows in which the hero or heroine wore a wristwatch that doubled up as a communication device, allowing them to place calls, find the baddies, or in the case of the Hoff in Knight Rider, communicate directly with his super intelligent self-driving car, Kit. 30 years later, at the dawn of the smartwatch era, we're just starting to see watches clever enough to interact with us and the world around us, so it comes as no surprise to us that an open source advocate and programmer has just pushed an app to the Pebble Watch store that lets you control a Tesla Model S. I have a Pebble and I've duly downloaded the Tesla app, and sadly I don't have a Tesla to try it on, but it's still pretty cool, right? That's it for the week. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode of T.E.N. And in the meantime, visit www.transportevolved.com for all the EV news that's fit to print, subscribe to our channel and other shows on YouTube, and join us live on Sunday when we'll be discussing these stories and others on Transport Evolved. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield, and until next time, stay juiced up! If you're a child from the 1970s or 80s like me, the chances are you've spent a lot of time watching television shows in which the hero or heroine wore a wristwatch. Wore a wristwatch? In which the hero or heroine wore a wristwatch. I can't say that. What a wristwatch! Maybe I need to say it in an accent.